진보를 이렇게 봅니다. 보수주의자들은 자유를 최우선시하고 진보주의자들은 평등을 최우선시한다. 그러니까 보수주의자들이 평등을 무시하는 건 아니에요. 그러나 최우선 가치는 자유야. 근데 진보주의자들은 최우선 가치는 평등.
A society that aims for equality before liberty will end up with neither equality nor liberty. And a society that aims first for liberty will not end up with equality, but it will end up with a closer approach to equality than any other kind of system that has ever been developed. You can only aim at equality by giving some people the right to take things from others. And what ultimately happens when you aim at equality is that A and B decide what C shall do for D.
My question is regarding how free are the poor, how free are the unemployed, and how free are those people who are disadvantaged? Right. And so in reference to that, right, what is government's role?
Sure. First of all, I'm glad to see one vote for the poor. First of all, the government doesn't have any responsibility. People have responsibility. This building doesn't have responsibility. You and I have responsibility. People have responsibility. Second, the question is, how can we as people exercise our responsibility toward our fellow man most effectively? That's the problem. So far as poverty is concerned, there has never in history been a more effective machine for eliminating poverty than the free enterprise system and the free market. The period in which you had the greatest improvement in the lot of the ordinary man was the period of the 19th and early 20th century. Those of us in this room are the heirs of that. We benefited from the way in which our parents and our grandparents were able to come here. And by virtue of the freedom that was offered to them, were able to make a better life for themselves and them and us. But next, if you look at the real problems of poverty and denial of freedom to people in this country, almost every single one of them is a result of government action and would be eliminated if you eliminated the bad government failures. Let me be precise and specific. Why do we have so high an unemployment rate among black teenagers? It's a disgrace and a scandal. Why do we have so high an unemployment rate? First of all, because we give them lousy schooling through governmental schools, which make them unqualified to hold decent jobs. And second of all, we require employers to discriminate against them by not hiring them unless their productivity is enough to justify a minimum wage. The minimum wage rate is the most anti-Negro law in the books. And it's an anti-Negro law because it precisely, having first not enabled the young blacks to have a decent schooling so that they can have productivity, we next deny them the on-the-job training that they might get if you could induce employers by being able to hire them for relatively low wages to give them on-the-job training that would make them qualify for higher payment and higher productivity. In the third place, we have constructed a governmental welfare scheme which has been a machine for producing poor people. We have induced people to come under control of welfare. I'm not blaming the people, don't misunderstand me. It's our fault for constructing so perverse and so ill-shaped a monster as the whole set of welfare programs we have, under which we encourage people, families to break up, we encourage people to move from one part of the country and come to another, under which we have, in effect, made many people poor. And yet, when all this is said and done, have I ever been where?
Welfare or poor.
I have, sir. Of course, more so than most of the people in this room. How many of you have worked a 12-hour day and gotten paid 78 cents? But let me go back to but you know that's all irrelevant. Is there one of you who is going to say that you don't want a doctor to treat you for cancer unless he himself has had cancer? I could go down the line. But when all is said and done, while there are people in this country who are worse off than other people, by and large, even the poorest people in this country are relatively well off compared to the conditions in many other countries in the world. What we take as our standard of poverty, is above the average income of all of the people in the Soviet Union, let alone of the people in India or China or in other countries. Now, that doesn't mean we should be satisfied with it. We are a wealthier country and we've been more productive. And we should set higher standards by ourselves. But by the same token, we ought to...
더 어렵게 살았던 터라 가난한 사람들을 위해 무료로 법률 상담을 해주는 곳에서 일하는 것이 지난달 제 꿈이기도 했습니다. 돈이 없어 교복을 입지 못한 인간 이재명은 정치인 이재명을 통해 교복을 무상 지원하는 정책을 펼쳤습니다. 이재명은 돈이 없어 힘들다는 이야기에는 항상 알바를 하라는 대답이 들려옵니다. 누군가에겐 명품을 사기 위해 친구와 좀 더 놀기 위해 하는 알바가 저에게는 그 자체로 생계였기 때문입니다. 저는 알바를 할 시간에 하고 싶은 다른 일들이 너무나도 많습니다. 단도직입적으로 묻겠습니다. 대학생이면 알바를 하는 것이 필수입니까? 어른들은 늘 말씀하십니다. 제 나이 땐 하고 싶은 거 다 해봐야 한다고요. 이런 저에게 너 알바 안 해도 괜찮아. 생계는 내가 보장해 줄 테니 너는 너 하고 싶은 거 마음껏 해. 라고 말해주는 사람은 이재명 후보였습니다. 이것이 이재명이 말하는 청년 기본소득입니다. 이재명 후보는 정책과 공약을 통해 청년들에게 말해주고 있습니다. 너는 나처럼 살지 마라. 이것이 제가 이재명을 지지하는 이유입니다.